Well, good morning, everyone. Just getting everything adjusted here. Camera's all out of line. Mic's not in the right place. Bloody, bloody, bloody. There we go. All right. Looks like the chat room is working, so we're good there. Here and ready, says S. Hedrick. How you doing, Steph? Michael R., good to see you this morning, brother. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Twisted, good to have you. Good Sunday. And so today, just done a boy, I haven't talked yet this morning. A little froggy this morning. So drinking coffee, everybody's still kind of asleep around here, which is nice. We were all up late last night. We had Uncle Dave over, and the kids were all up and wild with him for a while, and then he and Rainey stayed up till about 2:30, 2:35 this morning making a puzzle. So it was a lot of fun. Hi. What's that? Yes, I am. I'm doing radio now. Kind of radio. Live streaming. You can come and say hi quick. Here's Rowan. Step up on the rung and you can rise above the mic arm. Whoa, there you go. There's Rowan Claire. She's my 8-year-old. Oh, and there's Ellie. Ellie, the 5-year-old. How you doing, Miss Center of the Universe? I can't see your face. See, look, it's buried behind the arm here. Say hi to everybody. Say good morning. I love you.
I'm not letting go.
You're not letting go, huh? So we had a late night here last night. It was kind of fun. And that was after a nice afternoon I had with Rocky and Travis, where we spent some time solving the world's problems while smoking cigars. And so that was pretty good. And other than that, it's been a slow weekend. Not much going on. Well, let me take that back. A lot going on, but not doing much about it. Taking Saturday off and probably most of today. Well, I've got tons of work sitting on my table here to finish. And so that's facing me. I could dive into that a little bit this afternoon. We'll see how the day goes. And so good morning, Carly. I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. And Leslie, good morning. Glad you're here this morning. Barry, good to see you as well. And Roger, how you doing, brother? Been a long time. And who else we got? We saw everybody else we saw before that. So that's good. And just getting my head on this morning. And slow start here in the channel just to allow people to arrive and come in. And, we talked about a lot of things yesterday over cigars. And there was a little bit of bourbon in there, but not a lot. I think I drank a whole snifter of bourbon over a 4-hour period. But so I nursed it very well. And but it was nice. Carly, I'm glad you caught me live. Nice to see you. And Swamp Thing, good to have you here. So everybody, welcome. Field Guy, nice to see you. And Susie Q, nice to see you as well. Yeah, we were all having a good time, Leslie. It was nice. It was a little cigar shop in Hudson, Wisconsin. And if you saw the picture on my Facebook, it was didn't look like much in that picture, but it was a nice little place. And it's all wood and all leather and all cigar humidor that you can walk into this big humidor. Fantastic selection of cigars. So we had a good time with that. And Ron, how you doing, brother? Your parents are in Wisconsin, huh? I'm over in New Richmond, and Rocky's in Hudson. And so we met over in Hudson this morning. Kay, how you doing? Good to see you. And let's see. That's all for greetings at the moment until if more people come in, we'll say good morning to them as well. Um, I wanted to talk maybe about some of the things that we talked about yesterday while smoking cigars. And just having a call. It was so nice, the three of us, Rocky, Travis, and I, to escape our duties for a while, and with permission, of course, and to just get away. It was just relaxing. It was nice to sit there, smoke a cigar, have good conversation, and so we had a good time with it yesterday, and we talked about all kinds of things. We talked about friends. We talked about troubles with friends. We talked about family life. We talked about um, all magic. We talked about what is magic, and they weren't structured. It wasn't like a symposium or anything. But frankly, I think a lot of people, if we'd had a lot of people sitting there, it would have made a great discussion for everybody. Leo Chu, how you doing? Good to see you. And we talked about other things. One of the things that came up because the one of the guys who runs the shop came and sat with us for a while, and we all talked, and we didn't talk about much politics. I think everybody gets tired of politics after a while, although there's a lot going on in politics. We talked about. Let me ask you this: how would you react if there was the discovery or the reveal or the first contact of alien life? Now, there's a question because I think it would be irresponsible of anybody to think to say outright that there is absolutely no life out there in the universe. You look at the exponentiality. I don't even think that's a word. You look at uh, the exponential number of galaxies in the universe, and you multiply that by how many galaxies there are. I'm sorry, solar systems could possibly be in a galaxy, and how many of those solar systems have suns that could have planets orbiting them that have the ability to sustain life. And it's into the billions when you start doing the math. So the question comes with a lot of people: what's out there? And is there life out there like we know it? Is there advanced life? Is there technological advance? Is there life that is more advanced than we are? Somebody who came into the shop and came over and said hello to us, and they were talking to us, said something to the effect of they thought that there was life out there that was just watching us, waiting to see where we go and what we do. And that would almost require believing that there was benevolence in other life out there. And so my thinking is I don't know if I have an established thought on this. Is life out there going to be benevolent just because it's different? If they come here, are they going to be bringing all their technology and their secrets of how the universe works and their medicines and things like this? Uh, they're going to share with us knowledge. That's, what some people hope for. Oh, I want the aliens to come because I want us to have a better planet. Well, what if, as one scientist I was watching comment on these things, there was a documentary I saw with a bunch of scientists they interviewed, saying, what's your take on this? Put aside whether you believe life can come here or not. What if it does? And I know that one of the consensus were that they thought that if alien life had the technology to make it here, they would probably be more, if they were anything like the human race, they would probably be here to conquer us. They'd be like the conquistadors were 400 years ago. They would be here to conquer and to mine resources and to take what they have, maybe even enslave us. Who the hell knows? Or at least subjugate us because they had more power than us. Now, that is to say, we're in this habit, it seems, of saying because we are humans, we're the destructive lot. Maybe we need to be wiped out. Oh, we because of the evil that exists among us and all of those things. However, at the same time, you look at America. You look at the way Americans can talk. I've never seen more talk about America from Americans, from people living in this system of government, living here, that decry it as being such a bad place to be and such a bad place in the world. And so all of those things, you start looking at that and you have your slice of humanity that wants to degrade what it has. And so I would say that we would probably have a lot to contribute out there. What makes anybody think we're the bad kids on the block, or we're the ones that have nothing good to share, or that we have no innate goodness about us that is uplifting and that is, just because you have evil doesn't mean you don't have good. So I think that we have something to share. I think that there is, if I were confronted with alien life, the first contact, of course I'd be a little nervous about that. But imagine once you get over the initial thing and once you get to where what they're about and why they're here, is it just exploration and discovery, or is it exploration and discovery for the purpose of exploitation? We don't know. Why do we send things out into space? To see what the other planets are like and to see what's going on out there. Because we want to explore. We want to see if there are places out there. What's the purpose usually behind it? It's to see what's there that we can either use, or is it all just scientific? Does that say that we have a universal what's the word I'm looking for? A universal belief that there is not real life out there if we're sending out probes to explore what's out there? And of course, we can't go very fast, so we don't get very far. It takes years and years and years. What was it, 17 years to reach Pluto or something like that? I can't remember the dates and the times, but maybe even more than that. But I think we get locked into our own perceptions psychologically of who we are as a people. We get locked into the things that have happened bad to us, our experiences in life, how we see things happen around the planet here, the exploitation of mankind by mankind, the utter inhumanity of man to its fellow man. And so, and I suppose that's politically correct to say man, well, that's the word for it, humanity. We can go off on all the political derivations of why we shouldn't use the word man as a pronoun to describe who we are, but that's what we are. You get it. You're smart people with common sense, so you got it. So, if life came here, what would it be like for this planet? What would happen to our governments and the way people treat each other and the way our governments treat each other if suddenly we knew that the extent of what exists goes beyond just our geographical territories on this planet? What if we knew that there were other civilizations out there? There are some who have said, now I can't give you a name on this. I hate it when people say, there are some people say, well, give me some facts. I don't know what they are exactly off the top of my head, But there are those who have said, and my understanding have maintained that, and they seem to be somewhat in the know, that there is a sort of federation out there. Now, that sounds silly because it goes along with a lot of our science fiction, our pop cultural television shows, things like that. But there are those who say there is a federation that exists out there that is aware of who we are. And some people here are aware of it. Scientists will say, some scientists will say, there is no propulsion system that is fast enough. When we've got stars that we see twinkling in the night sky, and we say that light left that star over 2 billion years ago, and it's finally getting to us, that means that for somebody to travel here from that kind of distance would require, 2 billion years, unless you can travel faster than the speed of light or find a way to trick the speed of light. And so these questions are out there. United Federation of Planets field guy. Yeah. See, that's why it's easily laughed at, that notion, because we have science fiction out there that has already established that in a fantasy realm for us. But some say that exists already out there. I don't know much about it. But it's like people that we know or have heard or have talked to that are in tune with the spiritual world. They seem to have a handle on those things better than we might. And they've tapped into things that some of us don't think we can tap into. So what if there are people who have been visited, people who have seen these things? This is all speculative, of course. I don't know of anybody per se that has done that. I have talked to people, however, who have said on this planet alone that there is already facilities that exist that are housed with numerous species of aliens, alien to us, extraterrestrial life. And by housed, I mean, it's not like a museum, a menagerie, or a prison or anything like that. It's a place where there have been governments, our government included, that have run into these beings and have run into them is probably a bad way to say it, encountered them. They visited here. There's been official visitations already, and that our government is keeping that from us for what the people in our government think are good reason. And that the ones who have encountered them are the ones that are made to look through misinformation and disinformation to be the crazy ones. So there's a facility. There was a friend of mine who was into all of this stuff years ago. We're talking 20 years ago. And she met a guy, and this guy, they were living in New Mexico outside of Albuquerque. And this guy said that he talked to her about one of these facilities. And he was going to take her there, but he did several things and talked about many things that gave him a little bit of credibility without any proof. So then there was, if you've ever heard of Dr. Stanton Friedman, who just passed away within the last couple of years, he got involved and he met this guy and spoke with him. And he told me, he says, I met with this fellow. And he said, I think that there's something to him. He knows things he probably shouldn't know. And so it was very interesting. And there were all kinds of little bits of data and information and things that happened. And so he said, I think that there's some credibility about what he says. He says, I'd just like to see the facility myself. And so Ron says, I think they would reveal that this is a prison planet. Yeah, if that if that were happening, that would be the kind of reveal we'd get, I'd think. So there is, and how do you prove any of this without disclosure, which is one of the big things that's been talked about for 10 years with groups that are out there. They want disclosure. Somebody said Trump has talked about disclosure. And of course, you had the Obama administration. President Obama issued a statement saying there's no such thing as UFOs out there or alien life, and at least on an official stance. Now you got this president that might be saying something different. So I think it'll be very interesting to find out what's going on. It'd be very interesting. I'd like to know, you know what? If there's alien life out there, just lay it on us. It's said that it will disrupt all peoples, that people will commit suicide over it, that people will not, people will lose faith in all their religions because all of a sudden none of them make sense anymore. Well, you know what? None of them have made sense. Other than philosophies, theologically, a lot of religions don't make sense already. So I don't have a problem there. You have to find the Book of Secrets, says Field Guy, like a national treasure. Yeah, maybe so. If it exists, we don't know. Is that just a myth? So we don't know for sure. So, what do you guys think? I'm looking back here in the chat room, see if anybody's put anything in there. What you might think of the possibility of alien life coming here. Hey, good morning, Rocky Stucci. I see you back in there. So what happens if alien life is suddenly presented to us? And better than alien life, because we'd be the aliens to them, extraterrestrial life. How would you think that would change the way we view the world, the way we view the universe, the way we view God, the way we view everything we think we know, everything there is to know about? So that's one of the topics we kind of hit on a little bit yesterday. Of government are aliens. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Leslie. So I think it would be arrogant of us to say that there's nothing else out there. Probably equally as arrogant to say there's nothing else out there that is advanced as we are or more advanced. If there are civilizations that are advanced as we are, they're not visiting us. If they're more advanced than we are, if they've found the way to travel, be it by bending space or by, I don't know, psychological, if they found an energy source that can take them faster than time, wormholes, that whole theory about that. If they're not already here, says Carly, absolutely. And according to some, they already are. So I would like to know, if they are already here, what has kept them from revealing themselves to us. I would like to know. And when the big reveal comes, I'd like to ask that question. Why'd you wait so long? Let's see. Interdenominationally. Yes, Carly. So with growing knowledge, perhaps they've been helping us for centuries, says Ron. And yeah, I would have to agree with that. Morgan Snow, good to see you this morning. Yeah, wormholes, Farscape, Star Trek, all of those have the wormholes that they go through. I think it's the idea of finding a stable wormhole and finding out if they're actually traversable. So that's interesting stuff. And the stuff of science fiction comes from scientific speculation. Not just, I think, made up off the top of people's heads. Holes are cool, says Rocky. There you go, in true form. Good morning, brother. So I am slow of mind this morning. My pace is a little slower than I'd like it to be this morning, but not for any reason other than I'm mellow this morning. There's not a lot going on. So I had this little article pulled up in front of me from kind of weird news around the world, and that asked that question: how would you react to discovery or a reveal of alien life? And researchers are pretty confident that mankind would more than likely embrace the official discovery of alien life rather than panic. I don't think there'd be a lot of panic. I think we'd be like, yeah, makes sense now, doesn't it? And there might be some people who would stand against it. Maybe even by stand against it, I mean, you've got those who will, in the face of fact, try to deny it, but I don't think that would last too long. There's been lots of novels, lots of movies about alien invasions and discoveries and reveals and multiple extraterrestrial scenarios. And there are also many people who've come forward stating that they've encountered extraterrestrials in some way or another. And a lot of time, in the fictional sense anyway, depictions of alien interactions with humans show panic and chaos consuming the human race. If you remember the old Twilight Zone episode where the alien race was here and they wanted to take people back to their planet to serve them. And so people got on board and they find out later the big reveal is to serve them, as in cook them and eat them. So the reality, though, is that it'd be very difficult to predict just how we as a race would react to the discovery of extraterrestrial life. A recent study had researchers analyze over 500 responses from participants who were shown a hypothetical article of the discovery of microbial alien life. And interestingly, and by the way, they have found microbial extraterrestrial life. Fossils of them in comet bits and pieces and things like that. So interestingly, the majority of responses were optimistic about the discovery. However, when asked, they believed others would be less positive about it than they are. And the results of the study reveal that humankind as a whole might be very ready for such a discovery. It's encouraging that this study has found people are likely to be enthusiastic about the discovery of microbial life beyond the Earth. That was astrobiologist Professor Lewis Dartnell. And he says, we're unlikely to ever encounter intelligent spacefaring aliens in our galaxy. But these are a number of upcoming missions that could detect signs of Martian bacteria. We're already looking into that on Mars. And so there's some interesting stuff there. How would you react if you found out you got up this morning and had your coffee and watched the news and found out that, alien vessels have landed on the mall in Washington, D.C., and we're making contact with our leaders? Yeah, I think so, Carly. That's why they continue to do soft disclosure and everything. There's soft disclosure all the way along. And I wouldn't be surprised. But we haven't seen them land. Ron says, I think it's conditioning for humanity for when the reveal finally happens. I think you might be right. We talked not long ago about movies and books and things like that, and you wonder who's behind the funding of the creation of these things. How many movies for the longest time spoke about apocalyptic Earth, post-apocalyptic Earth, or aliens coming here and settling on this planet, and the integration between humans and alien life, extraterrestrial life? Be interesting. Kenny, how you doing? You would think it's government BS? Which, the disclosure part or the non-disclosure part? Do you think, Kenny, are you saying that you think there might not be alien life anywhere? Or you're thinking that there might be alien life out there that comes here, and that is the government covering up, or does it just not exist at all? Well, I'm not sure what your point is there, Kenny, exactly. So it would be interesting to know what your thought is on that. So is it all BS? So it's worth talking about. Let's see. Yeah, there's so many shows on that currently. You're right, Carly. And if I go back, Buck Rogers, Draconian Alliance, yeah, yeah, there's all of that stuff. So we've seen all kinds of fiction on it. And my thinking and my questions really revolve around how you think you'd react if there was the reveal that extraterrestrial life has come here to this planet. Would they be carbon based? Twisted said there's reptilians at the Vatican. Well, we all know that. Z-Boyd says he'd sell out to the lizard people to get on the bestsellers list. There you go. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? And so, Z-Boyd, I know who that is. I know who you are. I don't think I've seen you here before. So that's the first thing that crossed, because that's one of the things we were talking about when we were. Is Pelosi a reptilian? Says Teresa. Very possibly. I just think she's somebody who's been in her job way too long in Congress. Congress was never meant to be a 40-year occupation. So there you go. Why do they keep saying she's so good at her job and how to manipulate things politically? She's been doing it for almost 40 years. So I'd be good at it too. I don't think we need professional legislators. We need legislators from amongst the people, and that's a whole different topic. So we could talk about that if we want to. Field Guy says that's an insult to reptiles. She's way worse than that. I think she's just somebody. I would tell you this. I think that everybody, if we step back a second outside the box and look at all the people that we agree or disagree with on a political front, from a politically, ideological standpoint, that right now it's almost like it looks like, well, is one half of the country smart and the other half is dumb? One half of the country good, the other half evil? Because that's the way it seems to be breaking down roughly. Half the country wants this, half the country wants that. Half the country is for this, half the country is against that. And switch them around, vice versa. So does that mean half our country is stupid? Or could it mean that I think everybody's got a desire to see the best thing done? But we are also governed by our tribes. We're governed by the things we give ourselves to. If I voted for a particular president, I'm going to support that president. Why? Because not supporting him shows that I made a bad decision, or at least what turned out to be a bad decision. So people will defend even sometimes the indefensible. However, there's the other side of that coin. People that didn't vote for that person and have maintained that that's the wrong person will be nasty. And, we see how that's playing out right now. And so are they innately bad people if they disagree, just because they disagree with us in politics? No, I don't think so. I think they want different things. They see different things. They find ways to oppose on things that they probably wouldn't oppose if it was their own people. It's tribalism. Might be alien life, says Kenny, but the government could also stage a fake first contact for nefarious reasons. He said, I'd be skeptical, at least at first. So would I, Kenny. Like I say, the reveal would have to be a reveal. Right now, we look at the Middle East and we know, oh, there's been bombs dropped and people killed and stuff like that. And maybe one side says World War III, the other side says it's not going to happen. There's no war brewing there. There's continued on the tails of the last 40 years of unrest. There will continue to be unrest. And you've got current situations there that need negotiation. You've got things that are being done to hopefully bring one side or the other back to the table. Who wants to be at the table and who doesn't want to be at the table? Kind of thing. To talk and figure things out. For me, I look at the Middle East sometimes and I look at the mentality and the way they do things, and I want to, you want to slap them in the face. You want to give them a good pistol whipping and say, sit down and shut the F up. If you didn't want to keep escalating this wouldn't continue. If you broke down a little bit and found out your way of thinking isn't the only way of thinking, there might be a lot to accomplish. You find common ground. So, but I look at that situation in the Middle East and I say, I could read the news and there's things I doubt or who did what, who shot down what, who shot what was their real intent. So yeah, Kenny, we've already got that. We've got that in the earthly things. We got that in politics. Show me the money, so to speak. And so I would think I would have the same attitude about alien life. If I read an article this morning that said extraterrestrials have landed on the White House lawn, want to confer, and on the lawns of, let's say, every other major ruler or leader of a country out there. What if it wasn't America? What if America, we didn't have any visitation? What if it was, I don't know, think of some little country. What if it's Norway? What if the extraterrestrials landed on the lawn of Norway and said, we're here, take us to your leaders? Would they already know who they're looking for? I don't know. So all that, yeah, there'd have to be proof in the pudding on that one. I wouldn't just believe somebody saying it happened. And Kenny, of course, we're talking from the hypothetical standpoint, or that it's been revealed and it's a true thing. It's a true reveal. When I say, how would you react if you knew that there was extraterrestrial life out there and maybe it's superior to ours in technology and how they do things and whatever? That's the question. We're already beyond, I think, the hypothetical of, is there life out there? Because we all have speculated on that for years, one way or the other. The question I'm asking hypothetically is, what if that life exists out there and it makes it here and it reveals itself to us? How do we react to that? What would that do to us? Would that change society? Would it change who we are? Would it change our perceptions of things? And I'd like to say, yeah, probably. Yeah, what if the aliens look just like us, says Twisted? That's a good question. What if they did? What if they looked very different from us? What would they look like? Would they be hominids? For some reason, a line from a Star Trek movie comes to mind: the undiscovered country, where the Klingon ambassador is to the Federation is assassinated, and his daughter says, welcome to the Federation, the humans only club. So, yeah, what's out there and what do we have? Field Guy says, will we be so naive to think that we aren't alone? Seriously. Yeah, I think it's naivety to think that in the vastness of the universe, we're alone. I think the question that a lot of people come up with maybe makes it seem like they don't believe in the possibility of life out there, are the ones that say, oh, there's life out there. I just don't think they have any way to make contact with us. How are they going to know where we are? How are we going to know where they are? I know, like I said earlier, we have a lot of study going on already. It's trying to establish that for us. So, yeah, I think it would be naive to think there's nothing else out there. Just on the mathematics of the, what's the word I'm looking for? To find a planet that could sustain life as we know it here on Earth, the math has been done on that already. They're already looking for that out there. I remember a couple of years ago, didn't they come out with news saying that they have revealed they found an Earth 2 out there, at least from what they can tell. That's without sending anything. I don't know how they can determine that. It's mathematics, I suppose. So it's interesting. That was a big story when that came out. So it's just something to think about. That's one of the things that we talked about, not even in that much detail, which wasn't much, yesterday as we were smoking cigars, Rocky, Travis, and me. And so, there's all kinds of things out there. I get more involved I don't get so involved in the disclosure thing and wondering about aliens coming. I did that a lot when I was a kid. But it lost its mystique because it's never moved any further. It's never advanced any. It's still that speculation that maybe something's out there and maybe it will visit us. Okay, all right. After a number of years, you start pushing that aside. Okay, if that happens, I'm ready. Just let me know. you know, I look at things like the paranormal, if you will. I look at all of that stuff, and that's a mystery to me, and that's something that's more tangible to me, as intangible as it is. It's tangible to me because it's something I can engage in. I can't go out there in my backyard and look for alien life. I could look at the skies and stuff like that. There are groups that do stuff, I know, but I look at all this stuff and I say, I can put my hands on the intangible of the paranormal world. What exists out there? Yeah, Roger, it's always nice to know you're not alone in any circumstances. This one being existence itself. Yeah. What was the line in Carl Sagan's book, which translated into the movie? If there's nothing else out there, it's an awful lot of wasted space. We're the only planet that could have developed life that is as technologically advanced as it is right now at this stage. We're the only place? I don't think so. Aliens and UFO is Audrey's thing. Good to see you, Audrey, this morning. And yeah, I'd like to think there's a whole Star Warsian type world out there somewhere in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. And that'd be nice. It'd be nice to know there was a Star Trek-ish type of federation out there. That's kind of cool to think about, Look at that starship hanging up there. One of my things when I was a kid. So let's see. Susie Killer said, "Not I, said the duck." Sis, I'm not sure what that's in response to. What if they demand something? Susie Q says, "Yeah, they might. What if we have extraterrestrial visitors and land here? They're more advanced than we are, and they make demands of us." So Barry says, "The adults always looked at me like I was an alien as a child. I just went with it," he said. Z-Boyd, what if we are? What if the Earth is, for some reason, and multiple dimensions have the Earth as the central point of all life? A little egocentric, but yeah. What if? That's a what if. But then who made the Earth the central point, the focal point? I don't know. Maybe we're just luck of the draw. We were born on a planet that we're the central focal point. Who knows? Nobody answered the golden record, says Kenny. Nope, nobody answered it. Maybe. Well, how far did the golden record get? Pluto? It's now going out into the outer. What if there's nobody between Pluto and here that picked it up? So that's the big question. Nobody answered it. Well, maybe nobody heard it. Nobody saw it. That's a possibility. And you look at the number of years. What, 17 to 20 years it's been out there? 30 years was it, or 40? I don't even recall how long that's been out there. But yeah, nobody answered the golden record. Well, throw it all away then. It must not exist because nobody answered the golden record. I'm not making fun of you, Kenny. It's just the idea that sometimes we limit what we think about these things. Well, nobody saw Voyager, and nobody answered any of that. Well, yeah, suppose in the vastness of the universe, that direct line it's made going from here to Pluto and beyond, there was nobody there that picked it up. It's a good possibility. Yeah, almost 40 years. There you go, Steph. So, yeah, I see your point, Kenny, but I think there's got to be a little more to it than that. Just in our effort to find, if you think that there are at least, I can't even put a number on it. When they found through that Hubble telescope experiment, taking pictures infrared in one little tiny, they said it was like your pinky nail if you hold it up and look at the night sky. And it was that size. They took an area in the night sky and found that there were over 10,000 galaxies in that little spot. Exponentially do the math if you filled the whole sky. So if all those billions upon billions of galaxies with billions upon multiple billions of solar systems out there and the billions of miles that separate them all, just because we sent a satellite with the golden record on it in a straight line out past Pluto doesn't mean anybody saw it. So that's my thinking on it. But it's also, if we're broadcasting, why is nobody hearing it? Are we broadcasting on the right frequency? So let's see. I'm looking at your comments over here so I can pick them up. Leslie says, Teresa, this girl can't be bought with things. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Are you talking about alien life and so on? Some say we're living in a virtual reality. I've heard that before. I virtually don't believe that. So let's see. When matter is observed, it changes, says Roger. So where does that leave reality? Creating as we go? Predestined? Matrix? Otherwise? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I can speculate on the answer to that. We observe matter, it changes. It's interesting. What is it? What's out there? What's around us? Maybe there's nothing around us. So Leslie says, no apologies needed. I know a whole lot of people will run to them, simply saying I wouldn't be one of them. You're talking about running to aliens if they come? I wouldn't run to an alien. I'd wait till they had an office and they established the office of otherworldly stuff, whatever it is. And you could go visit. You could go see their museum. You could go talk to them. You can meet them. I don't think I'd rush out to them. Pick me, choose me, choose me. Take me with you. And Rocky heard about anal probing, and I know he got pretty excited, at least lifted an eyebrow. But that wouldn't be the thing I'd run to. So let's see. What else we got? We got, let's see. Lucas says, let me throw my address, my nudes, and a manic compilation of random music on a flash drive in a bottle and toss it in the ocean. I'll wait for a response. That's pretty much it. That's kind of what we did with the golden record, I think. I think it was a good idea at the time, but let's see. Oh, Leslie says she's being she's talking about being bought by things. Rocky says, shut up, cannoli. So, yeah, with Rocky, for sensitive ears to be covered in 3, 2, 1. We all know the meatball is all about nipples and buttholes. So that's all faux shutting up he's giving me. He's digging it. So no, frankly, I don't want to be abducted the way I've heard abduction experiences being told. I look at somebody like Travis Walton, who has his abduction experience. We had him speak at one of our symposiums a few years ago, and I got to know him. And his story, you've seen the movie probably, Fire in the Sky, that was based on his experiences. And he says that the movie's all mixed up, of course, like it is. It's Hollywoodized. But he is still out there, and he is still pushing his story. But he's a very modest man, a very humble man about it. Now, the worst you could say is that he really believes this happened to him. So he's telling the truth from within his framework of belief. But did it really happen to him, his experiences? If so, is that what aliens are about? They're about picking us up, anal probing us, trying to breed us. And you look at the X-Files, the whole mythology underneath. Is that what they're about? So let's see. Opening scenes of the movie Independence Day. I don't remember exactly how that opened, Michael. I don't remember the opening scene, but I do know. Oh, yeah, I do. Isn't he going off to work and, and his wife, and they see the big ships out in the horizon on the skyline. And, yeah, what if we saw that one day? Would that prove to us something was going on? Would we immediately say there's nothing? The thing about not believing if extraterrestrial encounter takes place here is you're going to know within a few days. If it's fake, if it's a hologram of some kind, mass hysteria of something, we're going to know that pretty quick. It's whether or not it plays out. That would be interesting. Let's see. Audrey says, I have a hard time believing aliens are so infatuated with probing our buttholes. I have a hard time with that too. Why do they want to do that? Maybe it's just experimentation, it's examination, it's whatever. Barry says, Christmas candy, Rocky. How did the turtles come out? Yeah, I think he's still working on those. He's making them. He had to move it up to Easter candy. So, Rocky, I'll just let you know. While I was out smoking cigars with you and Travis yesterday, my wife took down our Christmas tree and all our Christmas decorations. Yeah, it stayed up for an extra couple of weeks. It's usually by New Year's you want that stuff gone and out. But I left the house with Christmas decorations and a tree, and I returned with no Christmas decorations and no tree. I wasn't disappointed, though. It's nice to have the chair space back. So get that living room put back together. Yeah, Teresa, Rocky's dreaming of body parts. And all the people on the roofs of buildings with their handmade welcome signs. Then boom. Right, Michael R. I remember that. Yeah, they were all like, take me, please. And they had their signs. We love you, aliens. And of course, they're all destroyed. That's a possibility. And yours is still up, Kay? Yeah. I'm a procrastinator when it comes to that. I like a Christmas tree. I like to turn out the lights in the living room and only the Christmas tree is the only lights going. I like that in the night, in the evening. So happy Valentine's Day, says Kenny. And let's see. Yeah, it's coming up. It's about a month away. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. If you're talking about taking down trees, yeah, that's normally when our tree gets down, somewhere around mid-January to the beginning of February. And it's not that, we're hanging on to any kind of special celebrations. We're lazy. So when that tree is about ready to burst into flame, if you look at it, that's about the time we need to drag it out of the house. So I don't know if anybody watered our tree the whole time it stood there. That's interesting. So, and did you know those trees, they go up pretty fast. I think I talked about this once somewhere on the radio, but we dragged a tree when we had the ranch. We dragged it out to the barnyard, big open barnyard after one Christmas. And I said, I want to see how fast a tree can go up in flames. And we dragged the tree, set it up in the compound there out in the open. I took a match and I threw the match. It touched that tree and the tree went vroom. It was like not a 2-second delay. And that was a huge fireball that went up at least 20 feet in the air. You got to be kidding me. But it was all burned and gone in like a minute or 2 or 3. And then it smoldered forever. But yeah, those dry trees can go up pretty fast. Kay has a fake tree. Well, there, you can keep it up all year round, Kay. You just unplug it. Just go, it's not Christmas season. I'll unplug it. And I don't know, maybe put up one of those Japanese room divider things in front of it. Hey, what's that behind your Japanese room divider? Oh, nothing. We don't have to worry about that till Thanksgiving. So, yeah, keep it up all year round. Then you have to put it up next time. Betsy, nice to see you. Welcome. And who else? I thought somebody else new just came in and I missed it. Mary, maybe not. Yeah, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Right. A giant whoosh. So let's see. Who would like a little tarot reading? We'll do a 3-card reading for you this morning. I'm just going to do one at a time here, so don't give me a long list. So let's get somebody who hasn't had one up in here and see if you'd like to get a reading done. And boom, 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 boom. Barry or Betsy. Let's do Betsy. Let's start with that. Kay, let's do you as well. And Morgan. That's the first 3 that came up, and that's what we'll do. So Betsy, Kay, and Morgan. Let me write that down so I don't space it. Let's see. Betsy. It's number 1. Kay and Morgan. Boom, boom, and boom. Let's roll with that. And don't give me any more yet because I won't see them. All right. Let's do some 3-card spreads because I think they're fun. They give a little more information, you know. That's the thing. A singular card will give you a little bit of information, while a 3-card spread is going to give you a little more to go on. So let's try that. All right. For Betsy, here we go. I'm going to shuffle this up for you. And shuffle 3 times just to kind of clear energy, infuse new energy in this morning for Betsy. And we'll see where this goes this morning. Now, again, my brain isn't sharp this morning. I'm a little dull today in my thinking. So this is going to show you it's not always me. It's the cards. Somebody's giving a message. I'm just facilitating that message. So it has nothing to do with me. If I pick up any messages, it happens. But the cards are what the cards are. All right. Betsy, if you were here, I'd have you cut this deck. So I'm going to cut it on your behalf right now. Just like that. And let's do your 3 cards and let's see what we got going here. All right. Card number 1 is the card of your current situation, Betsy. And that is the Tower card. Take a good look at that. The Tower card. That's your current. Your recent past leading up to this has been the Empress. That's that one. And your near future, what you're going into, in other words, is the 4 of Swords. Right here, like that. And so let's take a look. And this is just in brief, by the way. And Betsy, I want to tell you, and everybody listening, tarot reading like this is a snapshot. It's not like carved in stone, this is your whole life. This is a snapshot of where you are right now. And it could be your whole life being depicted in this. It could be something going on in your life that's depicting this. And if you know what some of the cards mean, you'll already have the idea of where it's going and what it's doing and, you know, how it's working. But your first card, this is your immediate circumstances. This is what you're in right now, the present, past, present, future. This is the present. And you see in the tower is burning. The crown is toppling off the tower symbolically. The people are grieving as they're watching this tower burning and crumbling to the ground. And the idea with this, Betsy, is that anything that we can construct can be brought to the ground without a moment's notice. Nobody told us it was going to be a bad day. As Rocky and I on our show, nobody told me there'd be days like these. That's exactly what this card is. It's sudden, devastating change is what this card means. So meaning in your present, you have to, in order to make room for the new, you've got to allow the old to be destroyed. And so the ambitions you're following, the dreams, the things that you've been building, investing yourself in, the things you're following may have been built on weak foundations and They're offering you really false rewards. And this is telling you it's all coming crumbling down right now. A conflict is coming to head in your life. Relationships might need to be reevaluated, reconstructed in order to maintain. And the idea with the Tower card, it represents catastrophic change. Something in your current life, Betsy, is changing dramatically. It could be relationship, it could be job, it could be a familial relationship. It can apply to a number of different kinds of things. A death can be indicated by the Tower because it might change your whole existence right now or the way things have been. And so a chapter is coming to a close. It could be the termination of a job or the end of a job or the things that we invest ourselves in, the things that make life matter to us could be changing dramatically for you. It can also be something like my car died, you know, and I don't have the money to repair it right now. It's always a struggle when that happens. And so things are changing dramatically. But the Tower generally represents the bigger things in life. Relationship coming to an end, change of lifestyle, change of the way things are. And the beauty of the Tower is you can build something and it can be destroyed, and you're going to look up and look around you and go, what the hell just happened? You're in that rubble, but you have now the opportunity to get up, brush yourself off, and either rebuild a tower or move on to something that serves you better. So it's a card of major transition based on something catastrophic and big. And so by withstanding these challenges that are coming your way, things are going to be bright because you know it's coming, or because it's in your present already. It's already come, but you know you can move beyond it. So seeing things as you want them to be, in order to make them become that way. It's that whole what we talked about a couple of weeks ago about intent and visualization and actualization, materialization, making things happen because you put your mind to it. And it's daily. It's a fight. It's a rough fight. So the idea of this, though, is knowing that the worst is behind you because you're already in it. You can get out of that and move into something better, is the idea. And the recent past for you has been the Empress card. And this is a card of fertility, sometimes literal fertility. Mostly it has to do with that figurative fertility, that creative ideas. The things, since it's in the past, it's all those things that were the opportunities you've been in have been proving their influence now. Whether it's business or personal or artistic, a new partnership might require your continued effort to succeed at it. And remember, your most resourceful behaviors at this time is that you have to use discipline and apply yourself to it. This is where you were in the past. It's new creative ideas. Creative doesn't necessarily mean you're drawing pictures or building paper dolls for a living. Creative ideas, new things that you've entered into, things you've invested yourself in. And there might be a new beginning that's unfolding for you as a result of seeing the Empress card. And you have to decide its quality. You have to be understanding. You have to be sensitive to it, to the emotional aspects of life that are all buried in this thing. And it could be that a loved one is going to need some help, or need a hand, or a light in the dark. The role is yours to fill, is the idea here, no matter your choice. And what's going to go on all depends on whether or not you're going to accept that there's healing there, that there's respite for your emotional and physical wounds. You have to spend time walking on these new paths. And that's going to be more beneficial than mending any bridges. Your investments will pay off if you're careful with them, but they might also take a totally new course. Now, remember, This card, the context is the recent past with all of this stuff. The Empress stands for all things motherly, nurturing, loving, problem solving, indicates successful business ventures or other positive, really productive opportunities to come. And she suggests moving forward to fulfill all your full potential on whatever you're engaged in. But then she's running now headlong into that card of your current, the Tower, which is catastrophic ending to something. Now, perhaps the new ideas, the new creativity coming with the Empress is leading you to allow the Tower to crumble because there's something new beyond it. That's where you are now. And all of that energy is pushing you into this near future, meaning this is already on top of you. This is what's already happening, and that's going to be the Four of Swords. Now, Swords is the suit of conflict, as we know. The Four is saying, you see the guy resting here, and he's got the four swords hanging over his head. This is a thing that talks about you need to take some time now in your near future, today, this afternoon, this moment out is time that you have to organize and examine your thoughts in solitude, if possible. Not out there sharing it with everybody, sharing it on social media or talking to all your friends about it. This is you have to put through some solitude. You have to recharge your batteries, your dormant qualities of inner strength, self-respect. These are the things that are going to guide you right now. And you have to take some steps toward, well, it's possible there's sickness that's involved with this. There's withdrawal that is involved in all of this. But what it does, no matter what's bringing it on, you're going to be isolated now in your near future. And the purpose for it is to bring rest, recharging, healing, and order. And so you got to look to these things as you enter this phase now. No matter how long this is going to take, another few days to a few weeks, you could be in this area. This could also mean in the near future now, as a result of the Tower, the Empress, things crumbling, new paths, new things happening, the destruction of the old to allow room for the new, that you're going to need some time to just take a break or to call a truce with somebody. The position of this card is mild, but it's overall very positive because it says you're going to get the rest and the break that you need. So you got, on top of the creativeness, the creativity of the Empress, you're entering into a time where the Tower is saying something's crumbled down. And you're going to enter now into a time of recoup from it. Recoup, make things better, make your plans, look at the new path. What are the possibilities of the new path? So there you go, Betsy. I hope that makes sense for your situation and that it means something to you and it's helpful. So, all right. Let's see where we are. Carmen, nice to see you here today. Good to have you in. And let's see. Anything else I need to look at here, Ben? Thanks. You're always right. Well, thank you for that. I have to say, I have to put that caveat on that. I'm not right at all. I read what's presented. So somebody out there, the beauty of the tarot is even when it has a negative message or something that might feel negative, somebody out there or something out there is seeing you. Call it source, call it the universe, call it spirit. They see you and they're letting you know, hey, this is going on right now, and here's what you can do with this energy, and here's how you can survive it if it's bad. So, and here's how you can live with it if it's good. So there you go. Let's see. So I hope that all works out well for you. And mind you, this is a snapshot. It's going to be different in a week. So let's see where things take you. All right. I got K is on here. KT Emma. How you doing, Kay? And let's get you front and center as I shuffle up for K. All right. I just like to shuffle because, and I do it 3 times, just to clear the energy in the cards, rearrange them. Something out there right now as I'm shuffling is rearranging the cards for Kay's reading. So, one more time. And Kay, if you were here, I'd have you cut the deck for me, but I'll do it for you. All right, here we go. Since you're not present right here cutting the cards, I will do it. And let's see what we get. All right. There we go. Ready, Kay? Here we roll. First card. You got the Three of Swords. We haven't had this one much in the readings that come up. This is a card of a broken heart, but we'll get into describing what that means. Your recent past, you had the Ace of Coins. And in your near future, you have the Eight of Swords. All right. See, I got to tip it a little bit. The light is so strong on that. You can see she's blindfolded there. If I can tip that a little, not have the light shine so brightly on that. And that's the near future. All right. So here's what we've got so far. Three of Swords. This is your current situation. In many of the decks, the older decks, they would show a heart, a big heart suspended in the sky with three swords shriven through the heart. And the idea with this is that this is a card of great emotional or physical pain that you're still nursing. It's something that's hurt you, and you're still nursing that thing. Letting it go of accountability may allow you to embrace the opportunities that are out there to create something new that's provided by the recent destruction of something that you've loved, something that's been built up, something you've invested your heart into. And you're going to experience because this is in the current, saying in your very current, you're going to experience emotional upheaval. This period of suffering, emotional suffering, is going to lead you to a better future. It's something that says there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel because this broken-hearted state is temporal. It's not saying this is where you are the rest of your life. It's where you are now. And the path ahead is being cleared to make room for something new. And it's your decision of how to make or use opportunities in store. And so the card represents pain suffered either through an emotional loss, the end of an important relationship, heartbreak through separation. The emotional disturbances and the mental anguish that come along with this card are negative in the sense that it's kind of a no thing. No more of this. You're moving away from this kind of thing. So this is telling me, I don't know whatever your circumstances are, but this is saying there's something going on. It could be big. It could be a small thing, meaning it could be all life encompassing, or it could be a facet of what's going on with you. There's some kind of loss, and the swords represent conflict. In this case, the swords are showing conflict in the heart that's created from something breaking, something coming to an end. All right. But in your recent past, you had a pretty powerful card. This is the energy that has led up to where you are now. This Ace of Swords, Ace of Coins, Pentacles, is this is the, as I said, angels in this deck, one for each one of the four aces. It talks about new beginnings, new startings, new energy, messages from God. The coins represent your material well-being. Things of your material life are in your recent past, it's like this new threshold, this new open door. It's the time has come. And you're eventually going to achieve the success you're after. And the projects you have are going to begin to pay off, is the idea. So, this in the present, reassuring news is what this stands for. It may help you realize that you're on the appropriate path to receive the recognition and materials that you deserve. But this is also the building blocks to the Three of Swords. It's saying because of this, the Three of Swords. Now, maybe if you're getting new messages of new beginnings and new good things, it might mean that that leads into heartbreak that changes something else. One thing I learned, or I'm learning about magic, real magic, psychology, magic as we apply it to our lives, is that where there is a gain, that gain has to come from something else. It's like, I'm going to use an extreme example. If we desire money, we cast a spell to increase our monetary gain. Maybe the outcome of that is, okay, here's monetary gain, but your grandfather, your dad, your whoever had to die to leave you an inheritance to make that happen, is the outcome. So you get the outcome you want, but maybe not without harming somebody else in the process. So what I'm saying is this Ace of Coins could manifest itself. I'm saying there's great beginnings, but that leads to the brokenheartedness, because the brokenheartedness might come right out of having a new beginning somewhere else, but it has to maybe cut off something else. So Ace of Coins in your past, good things going, leads you into the Three of Swords, into brokenness, into not having the way. How did I want to say that? I already started reading this card. I used words I was going to use for this. The Three of Swords, being led into that as something that breaks down or comes to an end for you. And you're feeling it in the heart. It's a matter of the heart. So that's where you currently are. Now, you've got this card of the near future. This is what you're going into. And it's the Eight of Swords. And again, I showed you this card, and I want you to take another good look at this. This is where you're heading. This is your final card, the Eight of Swords. Now, if you see this woman, she's blindfolded. She's bound around her upper arms, but look, her hands are not bound. She's free. And strewn in her path are these 8 swords, representing the way is not clear, the path is not clear. And you're blindfolded and you're trying to meander your way down this path. So the idea is something that you are going into right now as a result of all this. You're feeling as if you can't find the way. You don't know which step to take next. You have this desire to avoid confrontation, but it stems from your aversion to causing other people pain. All right. This is an admirable trait, but it might prevent you from acting in your best interests. Maybe your best interest is something that causes pain to somebody else. And so the obstacles before you can only be overcome by courage and patience. The demands of others are looking you up, locking you up, restricting you up, keeping you from growing. And so don't fear using your own judgment is the idea with this card. You have to determine the path that's going to work best for you. And if you ignore your feelings and believe others over yourself, you're going to miss the important changes for your life. The Eight of Swords is a card that shows you the presence of obstructions and difficult obstacles. It shows a fear of failure that might be governing the way you do things right now. The frustration, the constraint, are the overriding tone of this card as you move into your future. And so there's there's a thing with this card. I say the woman, I like the imagery because she's blindfolded. She can't see her way through the obstacles. She's bound, but she's only bound down to the elbows. Her elbows are free and her hands are free. So she has that ability to reach up and pull down the blindfold. She's got the ability to do that. That's saying you have the ability to not be blinded by the externals of this. You can think your way through it. And as I've said before, many times we craft these blindfolds. We make them out of whole cloth and stretch them out and tie them on, and then we say, oh, I can't see. And we've tied the blindfold on ourselves. The idea is untie the blindfold. Any blindfolds that are yours of your own making, take them off. So you've got some brokenheartedness that's coming off of some good creative energy that's leading you into a time where you might feel a little blind as to what to do next. But don't allow yourself to be blindfolded by the externals. Don't allow yourself to blindfold yourself. Sometimes you have to make the moves that are better for you. So there you go. I don't know what it is. Many times when I see these cards, though, I'll tell you this. When I see cards of the Three of Swords, that's a card that speaks to relationship. It speaks to things of the heart. So I would say this might have to do with relationship issues. Don't know which relationship that's talking about, but there it is. It's there. And don't put on any blindfolds and don't allow the blindfolds to hold you back. Okay? I hope that's helpful, Kay. You can talk to me anytime you want if you have any other questions. So there you go. You can, I don't know if that applies, but hopefully it does and it works for you. All right, let's move on. We've got Morgan is up here. And Morgan, let's do a little reading for you. So I'm going to shuffle the cards for you. And see what's going on with you. Now, folks, I'm not a big believer that you have to do all kinds of magical things to make the cards work. I believe they are what they are. So I always said I'm kind of a nuts and bolts reader. I just shuffle them and I read to you what they say. And I can put a little interpretation on it if I want. If I feel it, I know it, and I'll throw it in. It just comes naturally when it does. But the cards are what the cards say. So here we go. All right, Morgan, I'm going to cut the deck for you as if you were here with me and cutting it yourself. And we'll get rolling on this. Here we go. Cards cut and restacked. Let's draw your cards, Morgan. All right. Your first card of your current situation, Morgan, is the Queen of Coins. That's a pretty good card in your current. You can already kind of see what that's meaning. Queen, top of the heap, coins, material, well-being. We'll get back and we'll read this in a second. Card of your recent past has been the Ten of Cups. Also a very positive card in your recent past. All right. Then the card of your near future, what you're passing into, is the High Priestess. Also a very strong, very good card. All right. It's about knowledge and intuition. So let's go back to this Queen of Coins. Coins, again, being the... if you know cards in the tarot, you almost don't have to read this. If I do a reading for myself and I got a reading like this, I go, okay, got it. And I don't have to interpret anything. But this is the Queen. Queens generally represent a specific person in your life. Kings and queens. The royal face cards represent a male in your life or a female in your life, or sometimes those energies cross over. And this is the idea that this is somebody in your life, or this is you. It's somebody who heavily influences you, or it's all about you. And by the look of the past card, and the near future card, I'd say this is you. This is a card that's talking about being granted opportunity to create your secure environment by your talents that you've been developing. And it's the help that you give and that you continue to give to people around you is going to be a significant source of fulfillment for you. And it's a feminine influence in your life. It's going to give you practical advice. This advice just could be coming from you, that you know what you're doing, or there's somebody standing out there in your present that's a person that's not you, that's giving this advice to you to help create prosperity and abundance and things like that. How to make life work. And so effectively utilizing your own talents. This is going to lead you to financial success, is what this card is all about, because it's the coins. Coins have to do with material well-being. And so keep in mind your more practical behaviors and prosperity finds you, is the idea. And so the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Coins, is practical. She's organized. She's a reliable multitasker. She brings abundance and wealth. But she also requires an ability to love yourself and to be unafraid of the change and the journey, the things you have to incorporate to make things happen that could lie ahead in order to achieve your goals. There's no real transition in this card. It's just saying you might have to make changes to make things be the way you want them to be, is the idea with this. And so now that's built on your recent past, or the foundation of this little mini reading, which has to do with the cups and the 10 of cups. And cups is the suit of your passions, your relationships, your romances, your love of life, all of those things wrapped up into this. And if you see this, you've got a family sitting with this rainbow of golden goblets over their head. And this is the idea that you've kind of reached things a little bit. You've made it to a certain extent. This is all about a new undertaking that's about to begin for you to, and I remember this is in a past context. In the past, the foundation, the task, the event, the journey is going to bring about the beginning of some long-lasting friendship, some relationship. Don't miss the opportunity. Many times this speaks to marriage and big family, having a family and things like that. Big family, having a family. And so you have to take confidence. You've had to take confidence in your direction, following your deepest convictions, getting where you want to be, propelled forward. And so this commitment and your comfort with authority have allowed room for recognition and success to make themselves manifest in your life. This card represents perfect harmony, abundance, happiness, personal or family dreams coming true. It's this overall sense of satisfaction and security in life. And it's positive achievements, it's emotional stability. These are the things, these were the building blocks on which you've entered now into being the Queen of Coins. So these two go hand in hand. This is your present. This is your past that put you here. Now, all of this is taking you into one of the most intuitively charged cards, if you will, in the tarot. That's the High Priestess. This is the card that's telling you where you're going right now. This is the steps that you're taking now. And when it's near future, I like to say, and I haven't said it yet today, near future cards haven't happened yet, meaning they're not cast in stone. They are cards that are mutable and changeable because it hasn't happened. However, in the near future, it's already on you, meaning once you see this reading, you're that Queen of Coins, you're already passing into your near future. And so the High Priestess is the card that you are becoming right now, this moment. You've been in need of new experience. You may wander sometimes somewhere outside your comfort zone. You have to consider the idea of investing your time in new people, new ideas, entering a time of renewal, uncovering the secret mysteries of life, so to speak. That's what she is. The high priestess is the intuitive, the epitome of the female intuitive, uncovering life, the undiscovered or repressed creative abilities that you've been demanding are going to be exposed now and expressed. Finding a spiritual guide might help you realize full potential of this card or your artistic abilities. And in order to get what you want to get, you need to overcome your fear of commitment. That's also what this card means. And so you're on the course to receive real rewards, but only if you continue your discipline, your motivation. If you reject the attempts to dissuade you, the future's bright in your situation. And this is a card that says you are uncovering the secret things. You have the intuition and the knowledge now to do that and the wisdom to do it. The high priestess is this spiritually intuitive woman. She's full of mystery. She's full of wisdom. She's full of understanding. And she represents a journey of discovery, of self-discovery, intuition for the self. You're uncovering who you are, where you need to go. And that time of self-discovery really goes hand in hand with this card in the spread. She stands for things yet to be discovered in your life. And that's what you're passing into. So that's a pretty nice reading. You're in a pretty good place. And you got good places to go to increase your wisdom. I hope that is meaningful for you. And it means something. And works for you. And there we go. That's your reading. That's what I got. Now, folks, we can go on an hour and a half, so I'm probably not going to do any more readings today. Only because I came in not quite awake and brain awake, and I'm a little on the lightheaded side of things today. And so I'm not going to do any more readings today. And if you see some there, we'll be doing some again this week, for sure next Sunday. Also, I want to let you know you can come and get a reading from me. I do full 5-card readings and 10-card readings. You can go over to my website, scottallenroberts.com, and you'll see, go to the Tarot link, and there's 2 PayPal buttons there. You can buy a 5-card reading or a 10-card reading. And just go ahead and make your purchase and contact me, and we'll get it all set up. We'll get it done. And we'll put you on the schedule. I still have a couple of you out there that we have to read that we've scheduled and haven't been able to get to them yet, trying to make our schedules mesh. So if you have a reading, if you want to get a reading, get a full reading, come on over. You can pick one up. Also, over on my YouTube page, if you go to my main page where you see the header, it says Adventure Town Communique. And it's got me with my big, full, curly mustache from a couple of years ago in the picture. If you click on the upper right on that header, there's a little button that it says support my work. If you like what I do, the things I bring to the table for the radio show 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you like what you're hearing, you can click on that and you can throw a donation my way. That helps support the work that I do, especially since I'm not out trying to get advertisers. When I start getting advertisers, then there you go. That's the thing that helps support your show. But I haven't quite done that yet. And so if you like what you're seeing, you can throw a couple bucks my way. You can throw a couple $1,000,000 my way. I'll take either one. So that's it. And thank you for that. I wanted to give you that as a little something you can do to help out things over on this end. And if you want a tarot reading that's helpful to you, there's get your tarot reading and we'll get you going. We'll get you set up and do a reading for you. And so, folks, thanks for coming in here. I saw a couple of you ask if I could do tarot readings yet today. I think I'm going to call it quits on the readings today. Energy's not up today, or at least it feels a little low. So I'm I'm going to skip doing any more than I've done. And other than that, come back Monday through Friday of this week, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. West Coast. There you go, Audrey, not left coast. So come on in, watch the show. If you're overseas, I know I have a lot of listeners in Australia, for instance, and New Zealand. And I do know that if I'm starting at 9 p.m. here, it's like 11 a.m. your time the next day. So you should be able to catch it. But if you're in England, I've got a lot of listeners over there too, England and Scotland. You're looking at about 6 hours ahead of me. So where I'm on at 9 p.m., it's 3 a.m. your time. So there you go. We're fitted in where you can. If you can't see the show live, they're all archived. If you go to my main page after this, and you'll see all the archived show in the Intrepid radio program slot, and you can watch some of the old programs there. And so thank you all for being here. Glad you were here. Jessica, good to see you. I didn't see you earlier. This was great. You were great. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Morgan, I hope that that reading was good for you. Leslie, everybody else, Teresa, Audrey, Kay, everybody, thank you for being here. All of you I didn't mention either. And I'll catch you next Sunday, if not in between, on my show. So you guys have a fun day. It's now 10:35, 10:37 my time on Sunday morning, Central Standard Time. So wherever it is where you are, have a fun rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.